to Beauty by the Beaker. I'm Sadie.
And I'm Natalie.
And this is the podcast where beauty gets a hot new makeover.
Heck yeah, it does.
Today, we are going to be giving a little bit of an intro into who we are, how we came to be, how this podcast came to be.
Yeah.
Our birth stories, even.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, we just want to make sure that you have an opportunity to get to know us a little bit.
And we have an opportunity to overshare.
Which I fear we're going to be doing a lot of.
Yeah, so you better get used to it.
So, Sadie.
What do you want to know?
Well, I feel like first we should just tell everybody the reason why we started the podcast.
Yes. Well, maybe should we do a little background on how we met first, and then that can lead into
Yeah.
Okay.
That seems like a natural.
Okay.
Actually, maybe we should just start with introducing ourselves, because that would lead into how we met. It's all a natural progression.
It's all connected, which is like crazy. That's the crazy part, is one thing just led to another.
One thing did just lead to another.
Okay, so let's talk about your journey first.
I was going to suggest my journey first only because I was born first.
Yeah, it starts first.
It starts first.
On a
beautiful
sunny,
October 3rd.
Incredible.
A day of legends.
You only needed a light jacket.
Me. That's not October 3rd.
Oh, that's in April. You know what? I bet you still only need a light jacket on October 3rd.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Every year. It's wonderful.
What a day. It
Anyway.
all started in 1994. 95.
A beautiful, beautiful October 3rd, 1995. Oh, Tuesday.
A Tuesday?
A Tuesday.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you know what time you were born at?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I do have it in my CoStar app.
Because I was born at like 3 p.m. How embarrassing is that?
Oh, I was born at like 11 a.m.
Yeah, that's better.
3 p.m. is kind of like...
That's like an inconvenient
That's the time that everybody wants to take a nap.
Literally. Or like start their commute home early to beat the afternoon
everyone's
traffic.
like really tired.
Yeah. 3 p.m. sucks.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And it was in February. But what was I supposed to do about it, you know?
Oh, 3 p.m. in February? I cannot think.
3 p.m. in February is the most Monday birthday you could have. I wonder if it was a Monday. Should I look it up?
Yeah, you should.
Okay.
I'm surprised you don't know, actually.
You don't even know what time you were born.
Tuesday?
And I do. A Wednesday.
Hump day.
Better than Monday, though.
Wednesday at 3 p.m.
in February.
Ooh.
And look where that got me. Okay,
So after I was born, shortly after I was born, I became very studious.
Let's talk about your early academia.
My early academia?
Yeah.
How early do we want to talk? I was, okay,
How
actually,
early were you being an academic?
honestly, pretty early. I have been a bit of a pick-me my entire life. Maybe because I'm a Libra. Maybe because I was born on the best day of the year.
That's something that a Libra would say.
When I was in elementary school, every single semester at parent-teacher conferences, we'd go over my grades and my test scores and stuff, and I would always have extremely high test scores in science and math. My mom is a math teacher, or was a math teacher. She's retired. And my dad is an accountant, so both of them huge math people, but
big math fam.
Big math fam. Huge math fam.
Don't you have a brother who's an engineer?
I have 2 brothers that are engineers.
Oh my god.
And 2 brothers that are accountants.
And one of them is not real.
That's an accountant. That brother that's not real used to do long division for fun.
That's crazy. Also, the long division is not the worst thing he could have chosen.
No, my mom would be like, I'll give you another long division problem after you finish your chores.
Every parent's dream. It's
She's
like a
write it on a
reward.
chalkboard.
Yeah.
It was so funny. I wasn't there.
And so I remember.
Yeah. I come from a very like mathy family and just a family that was never afraid of math, which I honestly think was huge for me growing up.
Yeah.
My mom always talked very, very highly of math and science. She presented math like it was just puzzles. which it is.
Yes.
But she just presented it in a very fun way, and I think that helped me a lot growing up. And when I was in college, I was a tutor, and something that I noticed when I was tutoring my brother-in-law, he was in high school. Every time I would go over, they would just say like, "Oh, we're just not math people. We're not a math family." And I kind of started to think about that and just think about like how people obviously have their strengths and weaknesses, but also some people kind of discount themselves as not being able to do something.
Yeah.
Just because it is societally like okay to do so, like it's okay for everyone. And it is okay. You don't have to be a math person. Not everyone does like puzzles. I think a lot of not being able to understand it is not giving yourself the credit to be able to understand it.
Yeah. I was just going to say that I think societally, math and science are presented as the hardest subjects.
Yeah.
And you're told from a very young age that math is hard. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's almost sometimes, I think, a self-fulfilling prophecy of like, oh, well, I'm having a difficult time because it's hard and therefore I don't like it.
Yeah.
Whereas for you, if you're presented with it being fun and it's puzzles, that's such a different way to view it. And I think it probably makes you less afraid of the challenge because you're like, oh, I get to figure this out rather than, oh, this is really hard and I don't want to do things that are hard kind of thing.
Something that I learned from tutoring, there are a lot of different learning styles. A lot of the reason that people don't do well in school is because they miss the basic concepts. And it's so hard to build on bricks that are not there.
Yes.
So I'm not going to be able to build on concepts that I don't understand. And I think by the time you are conscious enough to like realize that, a lot of the basics are already like way past you.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I really learned how to learn until college. And by then there was things that I had to relearn completely on my own from high school and from junior high, and honestly probably concepts from elementary school.
Yeah.
Because they were foundational and I wasn't able to pick up on them when they were presented to me.
I noticed that a lot in my calculus classes. During like middle school and high school in my math classes, the number one question would always be, when are we going to use this? And then in calculus, it's like, oh, now we're using it. Like now I need to know how to do long division. Like that sort of stuff is used all the time. And I think a lot of the time people don't pay that much attention to it because it's like, this is never going to be applicable. And then if you get to the higher classes, you're like, oh, never mind. All of this is applicable, actually. Like, there's a reason you learn all of it.
Yeah. And it is hard to know when you are in junior high and high school what foundational concepts you are going to want to take with you. Not every single thing that you learn is relevant information for being an adult. And you can survive in the world without knowing math, But I do feel like the way that education is presented is just almost as a challenge and not as like an exciting discovery.
I think that's a big motivator for us doing this podcast as well, is providing that foundational information to people. And just assuming that everyone is starting from knowing absolutely nothing. Our goal is for you to be able to turn on an episode at any point and know what we're talking about. Because like you don't have to go back and listen to all of the previous episodes in order to know what we're doing. You should. We recommend it because like they're all going to be great. But
and they'll each have like information that's unique to that episode.
Yes.
But exactly. Like we want everyone to feel like they can understand everything that they need to encapsulated in just 1 hour-long episode.
Exactly. And I also think we're never going to make you feel dumb for not knowing something, or like we both don't know a lot of things. We've been in the industry I've been in here for 3 years. You've been here for 6. So you know a lot more than I do, but still like there's so much that we don't know. So it's also like a learning experience for us as well. We learn stuff every time we research for these episodes. We'll probably get things wrong sometimes and we'll amend that as we go and we'll learn as we go. But like that's kind of our goal, is to level with people, I think, and to have science not feel so hard to attain.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. I know a lot of people have a lot of trauma associated with the public school system. And it wasn't always a super great environment for learning.
And as a kid, like, sometimes you just don't care. As a kid, you don't understand.
It's literally not the point.
Yeah.
When you're in high school, I feel like you get the grades that you need in order to continue to do what you want to do in high school.
Yeah. Yep.
Learning is kind of a byproduct, part of the way that it's presented. I think a lot of the subjects that we learn in school, we kind of set aside and other to an extent.
Yeah.
And they become challenges that they were not before, or that they don't necessarily need to be.
Yeah.
I have my degree in biochemistry, but I had to take college level physics. And while I was taking physics, my husband was starting a recording studio. And it was so interesting because I would hear him talk about a lot of the things that he had to learn for setting up his recording studio because of the way that waves bounce off of walls and just like frequencies. I was like, you're speaking like very advanced physics terms right now. And he like didn't realize it because there wasn't any recording studio class in college. You know, like I think sometimes we just get so stressed out by just how general the classes are that it feels like the entire subject. It kind of makes you put up a wall like I don't care. Like that's too much. I'm not into the technical details.
Yeah. Like it feels way too daunting because the only time that you've ever learned it is in a setting where it is very daunting. To be like, here's all of this information.
Yeah. And you're going to be tested on it.
Yeah. And you have timelines you have to learn it by and stuff.
Exactly. And if you don't do well, like maybe your mom's not going to let you do that thing with your friends you wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like you kind of have a negative association with it sometimes.
Yeah. We kind of want to bring the opposite energy with the podcast where it's a place that you feel like you're learning as a byproduct.
Yes.
Like you are here to gossip and chat with your friends and like to have a good time. Chat about things that are interesting.
Yeah.
Like I don't want this to feel like a lecture.
No. God, no. Can you imagine? Yeah, I totally agree. I think the learning is kind of a byproduct here. But it's nice because you know that if you do learn, it is accurate information. Yeah. And it's stuff that we've researched and you're learning the correct stuff.
Yeah. We know that there are two very different types of podcast consumers. And interestingly enough, Sadie and I are very different types of podcast consumers.
It's also interesting because I think you would not expect us to be the types that we are.
No.
Yeah, I feel like every podcast I listen to, I have to be learning something. And you are very much a gab and gossip podcast
I want to turn on a podcast and brain numb.
Yeah, just full brain rot.
Literally. Tell me why Benson Boone is canceled this week.
And for me, I'm like, I cannot. Like, tell me about a true crime case. Tell me about something educational. I listen to cosmetic chemistry podcasts all the time. Like, that's my bread and butter. But it's nice because I think we'll be able to really mesh the two.
I listen to podcasts about beauty gurus and the drama that they're in.
Which is so funny because we have our opposite topics that we talk about. Like, that's my forte on the podcast. And then yours is like the educational stuff.
It is funny. But we want to make a space where both of those types of groups feel included.
Yes.
Where you are learning enough that you can feel accomplished at the end of the episode. You have a fun fact to share with your friends, or like you're going to be able to make smarter choices with your cosmetics. Even just like understanding marketing terms and
or having like a different view of social constructs when it comes to cosmetics.
Yeah.
You know, learning things like that too.
And more than trying to convince you of how you should feel, because I don't think that that's ever the scientific way to do it. We always want to do our best to present the most factual information that there is.
Like our minds change too as we learn new information.
Yeah. And the collective body of knowledge that we as humans share is always changing and always growing. And what we want to do is be able to present that as that. There are a lot of things in cosmetics that are very well studied and have a lot of data behind them. And there are things in cosmetics that don't. and there are going to be advances. There are going to be new studies that come out.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen within the timeline of this podcast too.
Yeah.
And so we always want to be able to approach it humbly and like
without an agenda.
Exactly. And like just present everything, even if it's like most of the data says this, but we did find a couple things that say this.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's something that is a concern to you, we want you to be able to know and make decisions based on it. So
I think a big reason why we decided to start this podcast is because there is so much conflicting information out there. And it was really hard as formulators to have to formulate around things that didn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Because of information that was found online and things that the data doesn't support, but because there's so many voices saying this stuff, that changes the way that the cosmetic industry produces and like makes products.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the consumers are the ones who decide what the brands are going to sell.
Yeah. The products are formulated for the consumer.
Yeah. And so hopefully by educating consumers, we can kind of inspire some change within some brands.
We are not using the products that we were mainly formulating because we have more information and we are not afraid of things that are not scary.
Yeah. That's not a bad thing, but it does make us want to educate consumers a little bit better.
Yeah. There are not that many people that have a lot of in-depth knowledge on cosmetic ingredients. It's not, I mean, it's a big industry, obviously, huge industry, but there aren't very many people that are communicating it.
And if they are, it's not always in a way that is accessible to the everyday average consumer. Exactly. Like even sometimes I will read science communication posts and be like, this is too much for me. Like
there are a lot of people in the industry and there's a lot of really good, interesting information about cosmetic science.
Yeah.
There are also a lot of users of cosmetics. Almost everybody. Probably everybody.
Yeah, to some extent.
If you brush your teeth, use lotion, wash your hair, face, anything.
Put on deodorant.
We would have conversations with friends and family. And they'd be asking questions about it and be interested in the technical side, the more of the scientific side of the cosmetic industry. I feel like I could speak for both of us, but I found myself kind of explaining scientific things to people often.
Yeah.
Just because it is interesting and people do want to know.
A huge part of it for us is the amount of misinformation that's out there. Someone would say something to me like, do you put chemicals in your products? And it's like, whoa, okay, everything's a chemical. I can tell where they've been getting their information from. And it's not their fault because that's the most digestible and like easy to learn information. Yeah, I felt like I was having the same conversation over and over again where I was telling people like, no, actually, you don't have to be scared of the cosmetic industry.
Yeah.
You don't have to be scared of the products. Scientists aren't intentionally trying to hurt you. Brands aren't trying to hurt you. I think that was probably the biggest motivator for me creating this podcast is like, how can we educate people on how they don't have to be scared of the industry?
Yeah.
And if they are going to be scared, they shouldn't be scared of what they're being told they should be scared of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. One of the biggest questions that I get asked as a cosmetic chemist is, what should I be buying? Okay, well, what's really worth it? Like, what should I actually buy? And my answer was always just like, whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's all safe. Just whatever you like.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah. And I realized that there was this confusion and fear around cosmetics. Everybody has like different skin.
Yeah. And hair.
And hair. And
spin bits.
And teeth.
And feet. Everyone has differences.
Everyone has a different them. But everyone really does have their own preferences when it comes to cosmetics. And what I like is not going to be what everybody else likes. I like to feel like I'm going to bed glazed donut.
Glazed donut, but a little bit matte.
Oh, not for sleep.
Really? Thank God you're not crazy.
Me putting on lotion before bed.
Same.
I don't know. Did we cover it?
I think so. We have probably about 45 minutes of us chatting about why we started.
So true. And this is only going to be like a short episode.
Yeah. The thing about us, are we ever going to make a short episode? I don't know. Jury's still out on that. We just want people to feel educated and also have a lot of fun.
We want to redefine what the learning space looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like this.
It looks like a salon.
And it's a whole hell of a lot of fun.
So I have to say this to start. Nat came up with the entire idea behind the set design. She created all of the things in the set. She did a great job. I helped paint a wall or two.
Oh, you helped.
And I also helped glue those bubbles onto the sink. But other than that, it was pretty much all Nat. So do you want to explain kind of your inspiration?
Yes. I don't have any sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like my memories of women in beauty were very limited.
Mm-hmm.
My mom would tell me when my mom was little, my grandma would go to the salon every single week. And it was always on Saturday. You would go to the salon and you would get your hair shampooed and then they would set it and you would have your hair look nice for Sunday and then you'd wear your hair all week.
Mm-hmm. Just the days, man.
I know. Crazy.
Yeah.
It is wild to think of to go to a salon and have someone else wash your hair and then you just don't touch it for a whole week.
Yeah. I cannot imagine the crunch. Like laying down on your pillow.
Helmeted up.
It's like just a crinkle sound. Yeah.
The women of the 50s, no concussions.
No TBI for them.
No. But you would go every week and get your hair done. And I've always kind of just, maybe because I have ADHD and thoughts never really ever leave my brain. So it's always kind of been bumping around in there. I've just always been enamored by the ritual of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea that you would go to this place every week, presumably at the same time every week, and kind of gossip with your hair lady. Because I go to the hair salon like every 3 months.
Yeah.
We chat the whole time. And it's always like, oh my gosh, we have so much to catch up on. I feel like if you were going every week and you were seeing your same stylist, but also like the other ladies in the salon, it would just be like, no wonder news travels fast in a small town.
Yeah. Like, that's your community right there.
It's always just sounded like such a dream to me. I don't know. I think I've always been interested in uniquely feminine history.
Yeah.
I think that that's kind of a really like cool part of history that we don't talk about.
I'd never heard about it before you told me.
Yeah. And it might not seem that cool to anybody else, but I do think it's just a lot of beauty rituals and things are just fascinating. And I do think it's interesting that humans do care so much about their appearance and so much about beautiful things, but we never really talk about it.
Yeah.
We don't really talk about how beauty has impacted the world. We don't really address that. All of that just to be said, I think the history of beauty is very interesting. And the piece of history of the 50s salon ritual has always stuck with me just because I liked picturing my grandma doing that every week. I always just pictured all the little old ladies doing it because I think my grandma did it up until she was older. You know? Like I think she kept going. Grandma, let me know.
Grandma, can you comment?
When we did start thinking about doing a podcast, that piece of history kind of kept coming back to mind. This is what I want to recreate is like this feeling of going to the salon every week and being able to gossip with all the ladies there.
Yeah.
Feel like you're going and you're learning something interesting. You might be just sitting and listening, not saying anything, but you're there to listen.
Yeah.
And you're going to get your hair done and, you know, you're getting things done. You're going to leave all dolled up or whatever, but you're also getting the tea.
Yes, which is what we're here to give you. I think another thing to mention too is we do have sort of a split between the two sides. And I think the biggest reason is because you're presenting more of like the scientific, factual, by the book kind of things. And I'm focused a little bit more on the societal idea of beauty and kind of how it impacts and influences society. I've always really enjoyed social commentary videos and stuff. And so I really wanted to kind of have that be my focus. That's, again, us blending the science side and the beauty side by sort of having those alternating topics every week, but making them fun and scientific regardless of what we're talking about.
Yeah. We just want you to feel like every week you get to come back to your weekly appointment with us.
Yeah. Pull up a chair. Your appointment's about to start.
So yeah, we're Beauty by the Beaker.
Beauty by the Beaker.
It wasn't the cool thing to be good at math and science. Then when I was graduating from high school, it was like, okay, well, what am I going to do? And I was just really good at science. So I was like, you know what? I'm good at it. And it is interesting. It might not be like the coolest thing. And at the time I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I genuinely thought that the only option that I had was in the medical field. I mean, cosmetic chemistry certainly wasn't presented to me as an option in high school. I think that the job selection that you are presented with is quite limited. And in high school, you really just don't know what's out there. Like you don't really think about the fact that there are people formulating your cosmetics, but you do go to the doctor. So I started college, switched to pre-med, and I was pre-med for a couple years. And then I just started thinking about it and started thinking about the rest of my life. I wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon. And I don't know why. I was actually told by a dermatologist that I was not big or strong enough to be an orthopedic surgeon.
Okay. Well, I don't necessarily know if that's a requirement, but whatever.
I was like, literally, give me my Accutane
and get out.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I didn't ask.
Yeah, that's wild. Like, oh, that's so cute that you have that goal, but
literally, but you can't break bones because you are small. Do we only have these primitive ways where I have to break them with my bare hands, sir? Like, I'm sure we have better tools than just snapping bones in half with our bare hands, but whatever.
Also, even if it's not, that's why you're going to school.
Exactly. Even though now I can laugh about that, it was a little bit scary at like 19 to be told by a doctor that I couldn't be a doctor.
Yes.
And I couldn't do what I planned on doing. And I've always kind of been hard-headed. And of course, I left being like, fuck that guy. I'm going to be the best orthopedic surgeon in the world. But like the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, I don't know if I actually do want to do that. Like the idea of working with patients just sounded not that fun to me.
Yeah.
I got to this point in college where I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I felt like I had no talent, which is kind of funny now. Not to say I'm like extra talented or something, but I did not think there was a single notable thing about me.
Yeah.
I thought all my friends were so cool and so talented. And I was like, I am so average at everything. Just okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what I wanted to do because all of a sudden I'm not going to be an orthopedic surgeon and I don't have anything astounding that's pulling me any sort of direction. And so I was kind of contemplating just dropping out and going into hair school because I've always really liked the idea of doing something like that. You know, I was always the kid that was dyeing my own hair and I always wanted to do professional makeup and stuff like that. And so I really did consider just dropping out of college altogether. And I talked to my academic advisor about it. And I said like, okay, look, I'm either going to stick it out and be an orthopedic surgeon or I'm going to drop out and go to hair school. And he was kind of like, that's crazy.
Wow. Great options, both of them.
Have you considered any of the in between? And I said, no.
What in between?
Literally
Show
never
me
met
the
her.
Venn diagram of orthopedic surgery and hairstylists. I have to know.
Well, it turns out there are a lot of in betweens.
Yeah.
I was talking to him and I said this to him and he was like, why do you want to be an orthopedic surgeon? And I told him like, I really like science and I am really interested in biology and chemistry and I'm good at it. But, you know, then he was asking why I wanted to drop out. And I told him I really liked being more creative. And it's funny, I'm probably one of the only people that my dad always encouraged me to drop out of school and become an artist. But, you know, I explained this to him and he was like, well, have you ever considered something like cosmetic chemistry? And I put my hand delicately over his lips and I said, sir, what were those words you just uttered?
You're speaking in riddles.
Sir, I'm going to need you to repeat that.
Can we roll the tape back?
Cosmetic chemistry.
He's like, you dummy. Who do you think makes your deodorant?
And then it all kind of came together.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I really let him finish. I was like, okay, sounds good.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
And it just it felt perfect.
Yeah.
It was, the concept of it was everything I wanted it to be.
Like cosmetics and also chemistry. It's
exactly
incredible.
Done.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Give it to me now.
So I changed my major to biochemistry, and my entire cosmetic chemistry path journey for college, because there's not really, at least when I was in college, not a lot of cosmetic chemistry classes. I know that is becoming more popular, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I kind of just started telling everybody in classes and stuff. People would say what they wanted to be when they grow up, in 3 years. And most people were pre-dental.
Or pre-med.
Pre-med. And I was always just I want to be a cosmetic chemist. And people were like, what's that? And I remember specifically saying, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, but I'm going to do it.
I don't know. I obviously did look into it and figured it out. But I kind of just kept telling people, I want to be a cosmetic chemist. I remember it was my last year of college. And people were like, oh, what are you planning to do when you graduate? And I was like, ideally cosmetic chemistry. But I was months from graduating.
Yeah.
Still didn't really know anything about the industry. Just kept saying, cosmetic chemistry. Then in my last semester, I mentioned that to a professor of mine. And she was like, oh, you need to talk to Dr. Walker. And I'm like, what? She's like, oh, yeah, he's in the Society of Cosmetic Chemists. And I was like, put my hand delicately over.
You said, ma'am, I've learned too many new terms.
Society of
Yeah.
Obviously, I go to Dr. Walker and he tells me about the Society of Cosmetic Chemists. And I joined as a student member in my last semester of school. And I went to one meeting as a student before I graduated and was able to make some connections.
What is that for the listeners?
Oh, yeah. The Society of Cosmetic Chemists is an organization that covers the entire US. And then there's different chapters of it. And it's kind of just an extracurricular type volunteer group organization that spreads news and supplier info and just kind of a hub for the industry. And there are meetings.
There are different brands and suppliers and contract manufacturing companies that go. So it's a really good networking opportunity.
Yeah. Depending on where you are, a lot of people from the cosmetic industry will be at least familiar with the Society of Cosmetic Chemistry.
Yeah.
A lot of them do attend meetings. It's just a great way to get to know people in the industry if you are trying to get involved. So I went to one of those meetings as a student member.
And they all loved you, right? They love students.
Well, it was interesting because when I went, I felt like I was the show and tell object or something almost because everyone was so excited. And now being in the industry, that makes a lot of sense to me because it's not a very well-known industry. And so to have a student member, someone who's interested as a student is, at least back then, not very common.
Yeah.
And so for them, it was exciting because most people who are in the industry really enjoy it. And I had a lot of people that I met who were extremely nice to me and made me feel just really capable.
Yeah.
Which I think was really great. And I was able to get a job in the industry right after graduating. Then worked in formulation for 6 years. Yeah, while doing that, found myself just always telling people kind of the same thing. Just use what you want to use. Don't spend too much money that you don't want to spend. If you like the packaging and want to spend it for the packaging, do it. But then refill it with something cheaper that you like more or whatever. Found myself wanting to give people the level of information that made them feel comfortable to purchase the products that they actually want to buy and not purchase the products that they feel like they have to buy because of fear or because of societal pressure or because of any other reason other than it makes their skin and hair feel good.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, my name's Sadie. I was born on a gorgeous February day. Not
at 3
hates
p.m.
the fact that I was born in February.
February is arguably the worst month.
I still
of the
think
year.
January's worse, but I do agree February's not that great.
Weigh in.
Yeah, let us know what the worst month is in your opinion. And if it's February. I had kind of a similar upbringing to you, but I think the difference between you and I is that growing up, math and science didn't come very easy to me, but I am a very hard worker. And so I was able to figure stuff out because I would just put a lot of time and effort into learning it. But also I don't retain information as easily because of that. I was smart enough to like test into the gifted programs and stuff at school usually, but I was always like the dumbest of the gifted kids, which is kind of fun. And then in high school, I took chemistry and it was the only thing that was kind of interesting to me. I didn't want to do any of the other subjects. So I was like, okay, I'll do chemistry in college, like might as well. And so I started off with chemistry, and there were 2 different paths that you could take. You could either do biochemistry or a different path, which is called professional chemistry. Biochemistry is a lot more biology and chemistry, obviously. And then the professional chemistry was very like math heavy. And I remember my counselor told me, not very many people do professional chemistry. It's really, really difficult. Most people just prefer to do biochemistry. There are only a few graduates every year from professional. And I was like, cool, I'll do that one. Because I just have this need to like do the hardest thing and prove to everyone. Like getting a chemistry degree wasn't enough. I also had to prove that I could get the hardest chemistry degree. In hindsight, I definitely wish I would have done biochemistry because I think it's so much more applicable to the industry. But I guess I felt like I had something to prove. So I did pro-chem is what we called it. And probably like halfway through, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't enjoy any of the classes. Like I don't really like chemistry. But I had also remembered that every time I would tell someone like I'm majoring in chemistry, they'd be like, oh, cool. Kind of in a way of like, there's no way that's going to stick. So then I also, out of spite, was like, I have to get my degree to prove to people that, like, I can't just drop out.
Yeah, you didn't quit because it was too hard, and there's no way to quit without people assuming that it was because it was too hard.
Exactly. So
I know exactly how that
feels. I was like,
like,
I don't care what I have to do. I'm getting this degree, even if I absolutely hate it. And so because I didn't really enjoy very much of it for the first probably 3 years, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my degree because a lot of the classes I was taking were like computational chemistry, physical chemistry. I was like, there's actually no way. Because again, I have to work so hard in order to understand those topics. Doing that for a career would just be extremely mentally draining on me.
Right.
That's for people where it comes really easy to them.
Yeah.
Then you can do it every day. But I'm not like that.
That's for us neurodivergent nerds.
Exactly. I would not be able to have a career like that, unfortunately. And so I thought for a really long time that I was going to do environmental chemistry because I was interested in it. And I felt like that would have like a big impact on the world, kind of. But the issue was that I hated analytical chemistry, which is a very precise form of chemistry. You have to be extremely exact. And I was like, this is boring as hell. Like, there's no way I can do this for the rest of my career. So it was just kind of floating, I guess. And then in 2020, COVID hits.
Right.
And I went online for pretty much everything. And I was looking for an internship. And I found one that was an online internship for a company that did microscopic hair analyses. So basically, they just look under a microscope at your hair and tell you like what products will probably work based on your hair's characteristics. And I was like, that's cool. It's interesting. And also it's online. So I don't have to go anywhere. It's an internship that I can, put on my resume. So I did it. And that was when I was first introduced to the world of cosmetic chemistry. Like one of my first tasks was learning how to categorize different products based on their ingredients. So I'd have to learn what the ingredient function was and then say whether or not the product would work. It was very rudimentary at that point. Obviously, I've learned a lot more about how complex formulations are. But at that point, I was like, this is really fun and interesting to learn about. And I've always loved hair care and makeup and skincare. But again, like I didn't even think about the fact that someone has to make those.
Yeah.
And so then at that point, it kind of clicked for me that I was going to do cosmetic chemistry. Then at the school I was at, luckily they had a class for cosmetic chemistry. And so I took that. I was one of 2 students in the class. And from then on, I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And then I got another internship my last semester of college. I got an internship at the same company that Nat was working at. So that's how we met. And I started there as an intern. I was there for like 8 hours a week or something and just kind of learned about batching. And then after I graduated, they hired me full time. I did batching for a long time and then eventually worked my way into formulating and doing similar things to what Nat did. So that was kind of my journey throughout my education and sort of how I got to cosmetic chemistry. But I'm very glad I'm here. Now, like, I can't imagine myself doing anything else.
Seriously, same.
Like, when people ask, like, what would you do if you didn't do this? Probably something in criminology, but, like, that's not necessarily where my passion is. So I'm really happy to be here in this industry. This is exactly what I want to be doing.
Yeah.
So
I'm happy to have you in this industry too.
I know. Can you imagine if we never met?
Oh, no. Dystopian.
Seriously. It also was crazy because when we met, we found out that I came into the lab my very first day. We were also wearing masks, which is crazy to think about. And Nat asked me, like, do you know this person?
Yeah. Well,
that was your first question to me.
Well, Sadie has the same last name as my childhood best friend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's my second cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know her. I mean, it makes sense that our lives never... like, she's a second cousin. So
yeah, there's no reason that they would have
intersected. Yeah. But it was really funny that we had that connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's kind of how we met. And then, I don't know. What was your first impression of me?
I thought you were really pretty.
Really?
I was kind of scared.
That's so nice. I remember I had no idea what you looked like for weeks. And then you followed me on Instagram and I was like, that's crazy. I didn't know you looked like that. Like, I thought you were so pretty too.
Oh, thank you.
I also remember you telling me that you were shocked that I still wore skinny jeans.
Sorry.
I really held on to skinny jeans for a long time.
You did. I'm glad that hopefully now you understand my personality and know that that was literally just an observation.
Yeah, I wasn't offended by it.
But yeah, I did observe that you still wore skinny jeans.
I did for like a full year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really loved them. And then I remember you told me on my first day about all your religious trauma. And I was like, okay, I know a lot about this girl in a very short period of time.
Sadie joined my life at a time where my life was sort of being upended. And I remember I was training her one day.
Mm-hmm. We were at the homogenizer.
I'm homogenizing a batch and I say, hey, just so you know, I act a certain way right now, but I'm not really that way.
Yeah.
And I just need you to know that.
But also don't tell anyone.
And it was just like, I knew I could trust her. I knew that things were like,
you know, it's cool.
Yeah. And I didn't want to like start off the relationship being fake.
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't feel right. And
yeah,
because I knew that we were going to be friends. And so I was like, I just need to tell her.
Which I loved because that for me, I was like, okay, cool. Like I know this thing about her. And we weren't super close for a few months. And then we went through some trauma together. Which we cannot get into right now, but we truly bonded.
Yeah.
In that experience.
Yeah.
I think that's when we became like really close friends. But yeah, that's the story of us. And here we are. Now I'm at Nat's house like 3 times a week.
So glad.
Yeah.
Such a pleasure. And now we're going to be with you every week.
Yeah, we're so excited. We are truly so excited to finally be doing this.
I mean, we really are just like 2 best friends that like to talk about cosmetics and talk about the cosmetic industry. Honestly, this sounds stupid. Never mind.
No, say it.
Who like setting the record straight.
There's a record and it needs to be straight. Oh.
Or any other preference.
Or truly
pansexual.
Whatever the record wants to be.
The record can identify how the record wants. And I respect the record for whatever it is. And whoever it loves.
Personally, my record is straight. But that's not the case for everybody.
I am a type B. Sometimes I like a straight record and sometimes I like my records a little messy.
sue ya. You know? You were born this way.
We really hope that you guys are as excited as we are. I'm excited to get to know all of you people. We're excited to be able to build a community where people feel like they can learn and understand the products that they want to use.
Yeah. And if you have questions or if there's something in the episode that we said that doesn't make sense or that you disagree with, like, let's talk about it. Let's open a conversation and a dialogue.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we're also open to course correcting.
Exactly. Just want to build a community. And where you can find that community.
Listen, you got to find it somewhere.
You got to find the community.
Where are we going to go for community?
Well, one option would be our website, beautyxbeaker.com.
I did the whole website. You can probably tell.
Yeah, I did the salon. She did the digi salon.
Exactly. Some of the scroll features, I'm like, this was done by someone who's never been a graphic designer.
Yeah.
But I did work really hard on it. So
go check it out and tell Sadie good job, even if you don't think that.
Thank you. You can lie.
Because I'd think that.
But even if you don't,
still tell her that.
You can lie.
And that's a great place to start for all things Beauty X Beaker because it'll have links to our other socials. Because we're also on Instagram, TikTok.
I think I'm on Threads, technically.
Yeah, Threads. But yeah, follow us anywhere. Beauty X Beaker.
Yes.
And you can also follow us individually. I'm Nat.
Nat BXB.
Nat BXB.
And I'm Sadie BXB on Instagram and TikTok. And maybe Threads too. I'll have to check.
I'll get on Threads. I'll thread.
I'll thread it up.
Stuff. Go follow both of us and the podcast.
Yes.
If you're watching this today, the day that it comes out, little weekend treat. But we are so excited to have you on Wednesday and every Wednesday thereafter, as far as we're concerned.
As long as the planets allow. But yeah, we're so excited for you guys to be here. We're so excited to be here. And we can't wait to show you guys what's next.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Love you all.
We'll see you guys in the next episode.
See ya.